Hey everyone, it's been a while. Welcome back to Grit Daily Dose with E Squared, myself EJ, and partner in crime,
Emma,
Emma.
what's up?
It's been a little bit. We had Thanksgiving and still trying to acclimate to the new schedule with Coast Guard stuff, so it's mainly my fault. Um,
Well, and I got kids in the house. We're getting sick left and right, and
oh yeah,
tis the season, and
yeah.
so
So it's mainly Emma's fault.
yeah, it's all my fault.
But we're excited to be back, and I think this is a really cool topic. Last time we talked, we did a little bit of recap on the Rogue Invitational. That was cool. A little something different, but we're getting back to our roots, talking about nutrition today. More specifically, oh wait, let me talk about like kind of the intro. So
Back it up.
for ourselves, yeah, back it up. So, with Grit Daily Dose, we really try to be a one-stop shop for all things science and experience-based knowledge on supplements, nutrition, exercise, lifestyle, just to bring you guys an honest education to help you along the way towards whatever goals you have. And so, with that, we all set goals a lot of times in the fall, but then when the holidays come around, they don't always stick around. So today we're going to talk about our nutrition goals, and this doesn't have to be just nutrition. This can be sleep goals,
Mhm.
um, exercise goals, whatever it may be. Um, but the holidays can sometimes get in the way of that. But we're going to focus mainly on nutrition today.
Mhm.
So, do you want to start it off?
Yeah, I guess I had some kind of preface notes. You have a really cool,
Yeah,
like, segmented approach to the holidays, which I love. I usually have kind of like a mindset approach that I talk to my clients
perfect.
about. So I usually say, like, all in all, holidays are basically just a really loud exemplified uh, like version of interruptions that can come when you have in fitness, nutrition, lifestyle, discipline, all that stuff. So you normally have things that like pitfalls in areas of nutrition or lifestyle, but holidays is just a really like big version of one of those, right? So like maybe you're doing really well, then you get sick for a couple days, right? That's a normal thing. And I would kind of compare those two as like it's kind of a halt in your daily approach, your discipline or your habits or whatever, right? It might elongate the time that it takes to get reach that goal, whatever. So everyone during the holidays struggles with eating the right foods, moderation, social pressure to eat, drink alcohol, eat a bunch of sugar, stay up late, right? All those things, right? And that's all fine in moderation, but it's really, really heavy during the holidays. And usually, especially if you're someone who does pretty well, it can definitely throw you off your game and leave you kind of feeling like crap. So, but what I try to do with my clients is tell them like what better time of year to get comfortable with having interruptions in your life because you will at
Mhm.
some point than the holiday season. So I'm like, sometimes people are like, I'll just wait till the new year, da, 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 like until everything's uninterrupted. That's not how it works, right? So I usually say, hey, start, if someone comes up to me in September, it's like, I want to start, but maybe I should wait. I'm like, just start now because then you learn it's all a learning experience. You learn how to find healthy travel snacks. You learn how to, you know, uh, optimize your sleep and your recovery even when you're not at home. You learn how to moderate when you're at Christmas parties. You learn how to just have one drink and then a bunch of water. Like these are learning experiences. So they don't have to be, you don't always have to just be like, oh, because of it's a holidays, I can't reach my goals. So it's completely dependent on how you want to frame it and how you want to approach it. Um, so, as a nutrition coach, right, for both of us, how can we frame the holidays in a way that's not intimidating? And then how can we help our clients just kind of pick a couple things they want to focus on and set them
Mhm.
up for success? So, from there, I'm going to pass it to you and you can give them a couple.
Yeah, I really liked how you said what's better than working through interruptions, especially with the holidays. That's one of the reasons, like, for myself, like with our program, we start with a 12-week base program. This allows us time to set forth goals, work through some of those natural interruptions, and that's why it's really, really good. And I love how Emma use this as an example to have a coach or someone help you keep accountable during the holidays while you're working towards your goals, um, just so that you reinforce those good habits. You have someone there to help you reinforce those good habits so that when it does get easy, it's really easy. And then other interruptions happen, you know how to handle them.
Mhm.
And, but definitely during the holidays, it's super, super easy to find reasons why we let our habits fall to the wayside. And when it comes to educating clients, I really like to focus on 4 main pillars of health, and that's your nutrition, your movement, your sleep, and mindset. I feel like these are really, really important. And so I just want to give one real tip. I want to talk about each pillar, and Emma can obviously throw in anything she wants to add in, and then a little tip with them. So right off the bat, nutrition, first one. That's probably one of the hardest things to stick with when it comes through the holidays, and that starts with freaking Halloween. But
Bowls of candy everywhere. You're like, oh no.
and then you just see the
Even at the
discounts on
doctor's
the big
office.
bags.
Oh gosh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like you go to the dentist and then they have candy there, and it's like, what? Did I just walk into
Wouldn't
Planet
need a
Fitness?
dentist if you didn't have candy, right?
Right. It's job security for them. Genius. So with nutrition, it's just remembering the basics. And so if we're talking about like holiday meals, we just got through Thanksgiving. You can really help yourself out by reinforcing the plate method. Super simple. It starts with half a plate of veggies or non-starch carbohydrates. Then you have a quarter plate of starch. So that's it could be your sweet potatoes, your roasted, your russet potatoes, whatever it may be. And then a quarter plate of your protein. So that's, your turkey, your ham, whatever it may be. And then a possible little added fats. I wouldn't necessarily consider a whole lot of that for Thanksgiving because there's usually a lot of oils or sauces, things added to. They're pretty rich.
You don't
dishes,
need to like add a separate section because most likely it's already in the food.
The key that I've had people talk to me about it is like, oh, with the veggies, does half a plate full of green bean casserole count? Yes. I'm like, no, that doesn't.
Dang it. I'd be like, absolutely.
Absolutely. It can definitely be like a quarter of that, half of that half. So a quarter plate of that green bean casserole, and then throw on some veggies. There's usually a salad somewhere on the table hidden amongst all the food. So grab some of that. At least if anything, it's for good fiber.
Yeah.
And just to help move things along.
Yeah. I mean, the fat could be like the skin on the turkey. So there's ways to do that too. But
or the dark meat.
Yeah. So I also like to remind my clients if they get a little too nitpicky, I'm like, okay, how many times a year do you have green bean casserole? Like, will it really throw you off that much to have half a plate of it? No. So like maybe because this is the one day a year you have it, just enjoy it. Try to like eat all your other stuff first, and then with whatever space you have, you can add more to your plate, whatever. That's kind of the approach that I would do with my kids, right? So it's a great approach. I do the same thing with me. It's a great approach to do that way. If you have leftover space in your stomach, go ahead, have another serving. That's a good way to like moderate while still enjoy it. So definitely by us saying like, segment your plate. That doesn't mean you can't have a couple servings of your favorite thing, but I would definitely recommend eating like the balanced portion first and then add anything else that you might just only have on Thanksgiving. And that can just be a good way, at least for your mind to rest, knowing that like you were responsible about it and you just didn't like grab the whole plate of it and you're just scooping it out of the pot. So, yeah, that's kind of what be my approach. Cause I know some people are just like, it's the only time of year I have it. So, I want it all. And I'm like, okay, but there's also moderation. Yeah. So Has to be a delicate
And then
balance.
absolutely, along with that, a kind of additional tip with your nutrition is listen to your body. Pay attention to when you're feeling full. Just because there's a ton of food doesn't mean you have to try everything, although it's enticing.
I know.
Eat slowly, drink water, chew thoroughly, and this is probably the one time that I would suggest you to someone to. I usually suggest to clients is when you're eating, be distraction free, but get distracted.
Yeah.
It helps you slow down your eating. And if you're talking to people, you're like taking a bite and you're talking, and you're back and you take another bite and you're talking more. And so it allows you to take breaks, which is kind of another thing, and allow food to digest, allow yourself to your stomach to catch up, so that you're not throwing down food, having a conversation, then you're back for seconds right away.
Or,
Yeah.
you know, if you have a hard time pacing yourself, just putting your fork down or your utensil down in between bites and chewing it, swallowing it, taking a sip of water can just be a good way to slow it down. Especially if you've been like ravaged all day and you just want food. Like it's so easy to just start scooping it in. So, yeah, it's a good point.
All right. So then tip or pillar 2 that we have is movement. Movement is very, very important. Not only does it help with, during the holiday season, most people think of exercise as more of a chore and something in the way, but our bodies are meant to move, and the more we move, the better we feel. And so when we feel good, we're more likely to make healthier decisions. So get yourself out, move around, try to make a goal of at least 30 minutes of movement every single day. And if it's days that you're not going to the gym to work out, that can be something as simple as a 15-minute walk post meal, or have dinner, then go out for a 15-minute walk, and then have your Thanksgiving dessert and go out for your second 15-minute walk, whatever it may be. It's a good way, like I said, to help with digestion and to help as well distract you and help control cravings. Anything you want to add to that?
I mean, even if you're really struggling, like maybe you have a football family and you sit around and you're watching football, like even just standing up instead of sitting to watch a portion of the game, helping in the kitchen, offering to like clear plates, like just getting any excuse to move around, take the dogs out or take the kids and run their energy out. Like there's a lot of different options. And honestly, especially if you are someone who is not a parent, I'd say, I traveled with kids for Thanksgiving, and having the help of, people saying like, hey, you grab your plate and eat. I'll distract the kids for a little bit while you're enjoying your meal, and then we'll switch. And like that was so helpful. And then it gave the other people a little bit of, movement and fun times with the kids. And so there's always excuses to be able to move around more. So, and man, we know those people preparing the meals, they're probably on their feet for 4 straight hours. So,
yeah,
I don't know if they're burning much calories because they're probably eating as they're cooking, but the point is movement.
Right. Yeah. All right. So pillar 4 is sleep. That is huge. Don't let sleep fall to the back burner. It starts with Halloween and just snowballs from there, whether it's deals that are starting to hit because people are going to get wrapped up in gifts for Christmas and prepping for Thanksgiving. Obviously, there's everyone that wants to hit Black Friday, or a lot of people that want to hit Black Friday after Thanksgiving. It's just, there's a lot that starts to snowball and a lot of places to be, a lot of people to see, and a lot of things to do. And while exercise falls to the wayside, sleep is right there alongside with it. And so if you're going to have a late night, try to allow yourself some time to either sleep in or get in those power naps. I love power naps. Give me 15 minutes and it's like I just had 2 hours. Like it's do it all the time at the station.
Like I just need a quick snooze. Yeah,
Yeah.
sleep. I don't know if you saw BioLane did a podcast recently with what's his name, Braden something.
Oh, I
Um,
saw that. I haven't watched it all.
yeah.
I did see it.
So at one point in it, though, he said they did a study between people who got 8 hours of sleep and people who got 4 hours of sleep, and there was a 230% difference in recovery. I mean, because that's huge, right? But then
Mhm.
say if you got 6 hours of sleep, that's still like over 100% different. I would assume, right? Like that's a huge difference in getting the 8 hours of sleep. So if you can get the 8 hours of sleep, I know sometimes it's tough to go to sleep when everyone's downstairs hanging out, watching the game or movies or hanging out, but sometimes it's maybe more often than not go to bed on time, give yourself some rest, especially with
Mhm.
traveling or being around people you're not normally around. Sleep is going to be the best way to support your immune system. So if you're not sleeping, your immune system's going to take a dive. So
Yep. And the last pillar that I have is mindset. Mindset is very diverse in this pillar, where it's the big thing I wanted to focus on was practicing gratitude. Like, have some leniency with yourself. You've set your goals. You can, I should say, you can, if you want to be 100% and very strict with everything and restrict yourself from certain foods you have. There's nothing wrong with that. Um,
yeah.
but also appreciate the time you're having with family, have the experiences, and realize it's just a meal. It's
Mm-hmm.
maybe just 2 meals, but always getting back on track. So start and end your day. One way you can do it, one way you can help yourself out, is start and end your day by saying or writing something that you're thankful for. This is the season of thinking about that or acknowledging that. And so it's good to take time and actually recognize that, whether it's in someone around you, um, or in yourself. So um, yeah, and then the last thing I wanted to touch base on is, like, I really liked this. I don't remember where I found it, but I really liked it. Like, you can't pour from an empty cup. And what I mean by that, in order to show up as your best self for your loved ones, especially, this is the time of year to be at your best for them, for your loved ones and your friends. You have to remember to make yourself a priority.
Mm-hmm.
You can't give to others unless you give to yourself. There's only so much of you can do that with, and once you've hit the end of the rope or the end of it, then it's downhill. It's hard to recover from that.
Yeah. Yeah. Burnout. It's a lot of burnout.
Yep. That happens a lot during the holidays.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough. I feel
Um,
like you're speaking my language right now. Sleep.
so that's what I really had.
Fill
Yeah,
my cup. I'm
that's what I
like,
really had for
ugh.
main pillars. And Emma had some extra stuff I think she wanted to touch base
Mhm.
on. And so I'm gonna turn it back over to Emma.
Give me the spotlight. So, a couple other things I want to touch on. Hydration is going to be huge.
Mhm.
Hit half your body weight in ounces in water a day. I usually, for my clients, I let them have tea. That also, like in terms of that, adds to their water intake. I don't count coffee. Oh, that's so cute. I don't count coffee. Um, but once you hit your water, if you decide that you want, some fun drink or um, alcohol, things like that, I would also encourage you to drink about an 8 ounce ish, maybe more glass of water per alcohol beverage. So then you're not hungover or feeling super icky. But just getting that hydration just helps everything kind of pass through. Especially, we all know, like, you're eating new foods, you're traveling, you might get a little backed up in the bathroom. So the hydration is going to help you feel better. You're not going to be all bloated. So those things are going to be important. And then the other thing I like to remind people is avoid high inflammatory foods or reactionary foods. So anything that you might have like an allergic or sensitivity to,
Mhm.
definitely, like, a lot of times people are like, So for me, I'm very sensitive to gluten and dairy. And a lot of people who are like me would say during the holidays, like, these are the times to just eat those because I can't normally. But you're like, then you're not feeling good, right? Maybe you're, however you end up reacting, your body reacts, then you're just not feeling good. High inflammatory foods, just anything that everyone's a little different. But I would just say try to avoid a bunch of, processed stuff, a bunch of like, things that are going to poof you up. So, and I feel like so much of that is around the holidays. So, if you can't avoid it, just limit it as much as possible. And then I wanted EJ and I to give our best healthy travel foods before we hopped off. So, a couple of mine, if I can't get beef jerky, I do the chomps, like the jerky sticks. Love those. Fairlife protein shakes, if I can travel with those. I know flying makes things a little harder. If you can't do like the liquid already, just get some powder. What I've done is I've filled a couple sandwich bags or like snack bags of a scoop of protein powder, brought a shaker bottle with me, and just stuffed them in my shaker bottle. So I have like multiple different, days worth of protein shakes if I need them. What's the other one? I know, like, in airports it's hard to travel, but oh god, he's
Sorry, choked on my spit.
comes out of nowhere. Is it Stan Efferdine? Is that his name? Stan? Stan. So, have you ever heard of him? Oh,
No.
He did a good podcast episode recently. I gotta send it to you. So,
Right.
On Modern Wisdom, he did a podcast. So, but he talks about how he has this meal that is really famous or something with himself, and he's eaten it for years, and can't remember what he calls it, monster mash, something funny like that. And it's like ground beef and potatoes. It's like a bunch of things just mixed into like a mash. And he always puts it in a travel thermos. And he's like, oftentimes I'm on like a quick turnaround, 48, hour trip ish, give or take a couple hours. So he's like, what I'll do is I'll just mass make my monster mash, and I'll put it in these thermoses. And then even when I'm flying, he's like, I just know that I'll have like 6 of these thermoses. So then he says he just gets there to the airport like 10 or 15 minutes early because he knows that TSA is going to look through them and swab them and make sure there's nothing crazy in there. And now he has like basically all of his food that he's going to need. He said, of course, I do get something here and there or whatever in the airport, but he's like, now I have like homemade food. I know where it's from. Sure, it adds another bag, whatever. But he's like, I'd rather feel good than, And then on the way back, it's a little lighter because you don't have full thermoses of food. But that's something that I haven't tried yet, but I definitely have considered giving it a go. So
It's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I usually pack a few protein bars. Those are always good. It's just be careful with like added sugars in some of them. You can always do which ones do I really it's the actually Costco just came out with a really good one. The clean bars or something like that. They're like 25 to 28 grams of carbs, 15 grams of protein, like 7 to 5 grams of fat. Not bad. Another one I like is like Smart Pop. The little bags of Smart Pop. Those are good little snacks to have. And like it's a good little or skinny pop or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Nut mix.
I think there's
not trail mix, but nut mix is always good.
Yeah. I found
ends up being a little more calorie dense.
Yeah.
What? Good.
I found because sometimes those Smart Pops or whatever, sometimes they can have added sugars or something like weird added oils and stuff to it. Yep. And I found a brand at Target that I should have kept the bag because now I can't remember what it's called. I'll try to find it. But I got an olive oil and Himalayan salt popcorn, and it that's literally all it had.
Trying to think.
It's called
which ones
Good.
you're talking about.
good something. And it's like a hefty size bag too. So it was really
Yeah.
good. That's what I snacked on my drive home this last weekend. I always crave popcorn when I'm
Nice.
traveling. I don't know why, but it was great. It was like nothing added. I've looked for a really long time to try to find like a snacky, popcorny chip kind of thing. And that's the only one I've been able to find with like literally nothing added in it. So I'll have to give it a googs. Let's
then-
see.
Always fresh fruit. That's always great. I love fresh
Mhm.
fruit. Stuff that doesn't have to be refrigerated.
Oh, I found it. Good and Gather.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Never heard of it before, but I don't shop at Target often. It's kind of far away from me. So, but I'm going to have to start buying. And it was like very worth the price. So,
Oh, I bet. I
Yeah.
bet. So those are some
So, yeah.
ideas that people can utilize. I usually always like making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. But I make my own jelly.
PB&Js.
Yeah.
Oh, fancy.
I've gotten into that. Like I did a cranberry sauce and it turned out more like a jelly. And so I redid it and I did 3 cups of cranberries. Side note, 3 cups of cranberries, 2 cups of strawberries, a little actual stevia and some honey. And oh, they're so good.
So
That's
good.
it. And some water. Yeah.
Have you been making your ice cream lately and your creamy?
Yep. I did one recently, which was one of the I took a whole banana, a Premier Protein banana protein shake, and big tablespoon or a big serving of peanut butter, and then a big old serving of PB Fit, and a little bit of the last little bit of the honey cinnamon peanut butter of your guys's protein.
Yeah.
Whisked that all up and then froze it. Yeah. It's so good. It's so good.
Oh God, I need a creamy now. I don't need any more appliances, but that thing is so good.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. All right. That's all I had. So,
Yeah, I think that's all we have for today, guys. Thanks for joining us. And until the next episode, which could be next week, it could be, we'll keep you guys updated. But we always look
never
forward to
know
talking with y'all.
what's going to happen next week.
Have you joining with us. All right. Till next time. See you guys later.
Bye.